Yeah, for the second time this season, Max, LeBron has left a Lakers road trip before it ended to go back to Los Angeles to rehab, which tells you a little bit about how the year has gone for LeBron and this team. Anthony Davis is in Salt Lake City, but I'm told he will not play tonight against the Jazz, and they'll look ahead to trying to do something tonight, but tomorrow is the big date on the calendar. They have a date with the number 9 New Orleans Pelicans, the team that they were up 23 points against Sunday in New Orleans before LeBron turned his ankle, and the Pelicans were able to make that comeback in the second half. Now, both LeBron and AD potentially could play Friday against the Pelicans. I'm told the likelihood of AD at this point seems more realistic than LeBron at this point, but Adrian Wojnarowski reported about an hour ago that LeBron will indeed test out his ankle Friday at Crypto.com Arena to try to come back at the same time as Anthony Davis. Of course, we don't know if Anthony Davis will be able to do it, but Anthony has been targeting that game against the Pelicans for about a week now.
What's Frank Vogel saying about this stretch right now for the team, Dave?
Well, I mentioned that game, Max, Sunday in New Orleans. Prior to it, Frank Vogel addressed his team and said, our playoffs start now. Some teams, the playoffs begin when the regular season ends. Sometimes the playoffs begin when you're in that final couple of games. But they're down 0-2, and right now they need to play a lot better than they did in Dallas. There was very little hope from what you saw on the court there. I mentioned to Russell Westbrook after the game, well, you are playing a Jazz team that you've played pretty well this season, have 2 wins against them. He said that means absolutely nothing, especially with the way they played against the Mavericks. And so you're going to see, a hodgepodge lineup again, guys like Stanley Johnson, Austin Reeves, looking to make a name for themselves, Malik Monk. Frank Vogel will tell you if they don't play with better defensive intensity, they'll have absolutely no shot against a Jazz team that they have their own motivation going into tonight. They blew a 25-point lead against Clippers the other night, and they're on a 5-game losing streak trying to get right back at home.
Speaking of disappointing teams, this is the all-disappointment game, Lakers, Jazz. We'll see who's least disappointing. Thank you, Dave McMenamin. LeBron is currently on pace to win his first scoring title since 2008. Leads the league at 30 points a game, but needs to play 3 more games to qualify for the title. He needs to average 27 points in those games to win the scoring title, assuming the next players in line don't exceed their current scoring averages. So if everyone just stays with what they do, LeBron's going to have to average 27 points, and even just to qualify, Dave Jacoby, he's going to too many Daves. Jacoby, he's going to have to play in 3 more games. So what should the Lakers and LeBron's approach be, do you think?
If you are LeBron James, you look at the team goals first. Can we win a championship? We know now that is a hard no. I mean, they have to win 2 games to play the Suns in a 7-game series. No chance. So
which they might not be able to do.
Yes, no chance. So then they start looking at individual goals. If you're LeBron James, you're 37 years old. The oldest player to win a scoring title in the NBA is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. He did it at 34. That would be just a nice little feather in the cap for LeBron James' career. However, there is this little requirement of playing 58 games of the regular season, which he has not met. He is also injured. Now, they don't do this by total points, which they should. They do it by points per game, which they should not.
Why?
It should be how many points did you score this year, not how many points did you score when you're playing the game.
Wait a minute. In baseball, that'd be like the hits leader versus the batting average leader. 2 different things you're keeping track of, right? I mean, why can't you do both?
Okay. I'm not going down this path with you right now, but you're wrong. I just want you to know that. Because you get more at-bats, then you get more hits, blah, 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 blah. My point here is you get the same amount of opportunity to play in the 82 games, right? Let's not go down that path.
Roughly.
Okay.
I mean, okay.
Exactly. I just heard you saying roughly is basically
sort of.
That's as close to a "you're right" from Max Kellerman you're ever gonna get.
No, I think it's very like hits and batting average.
So you think the scoring leader should be the person that led scoring, scored the most points?
I think that's the total points leader, but it doesn't give you the same idea of how potent they are in any given game, right?
No, I want the person who scored the most points to be the scoring leader.
Okay.
So LeBron James can't just play in these games. He has to play in 3 of them in order to qualify. Somebody tells me he knows that. So he's going to pick and choose his competition. And he's nursing this ankle so he can't go out and score 14, 15 points and try to help the team win.
Wait, you're saying that LeBron not only already knows what he's, like, how many games he has to play to qualify, but knows who he's most likely to score the most against?
Oh, I think he's looked at the upcoming games. They don't have a soft schedule when you look at the games that they have coming up. No. There are some tough defenses that they have to play. They're probably not even going to make the plan, but there are some games against the Thunder, a couple games against the Nuggets that I think that he will pick and choose. I do not expect him to play against the Pelicans on this Friday, but I think that when he goes to sleep at night, he says, not let's win a championship for the Lakers and the Laker fan base. He says, let's win a scoring championship for my Lakers.
I don't blame him. I mean, one is impossible at this point. The other's still possible. Why not? Is Big Perk calling his shot with this tweet last night, Jacoby? He said, Suns versus Grizzlies in the Western Conference Finals going to be epic. Carry the hell on. 3 exclamation points. Sounds like he has his mind made up on who's going to be playing for a spot in the NBA Finals. Jacoby, I was the first person I'd heard say that Ja Morant, I did it on this show, had a chance to be Finals MVP.
Finals MVP!
He had a chance to be Finals MVP.
Oh,
That's
wow.
Right.
Wow.
That's right. He had a chance.
There is no question in my mind that these are the 2 best teams in the Western Conference, right? There's also no question in my mind that if they were to play in the Western Conference Finals, this would be a 5-game series and the Suns would win. This Suns team is head and shoulders.
Wait, a 5-game series?
5-game series.
You do realize
not even close.
without Ja, who is a great player, they're 18-2, right?
19-2.
Excuse me, I can't even keep up.
I know they won last night.
19-2. Wait, Dave, they say after, 26 games, you have a good idea of it's a big enough sample to know who's going to finish where? They're
it's wild.
That sample.
It's wild. I
They're
don't believe what they are doing without Ja Morant, but when you look at what the Suns are doing, when you look at what the Suns did last night, Chris Paul back, what he can do in the waning minutes of a game, there's just no team that's beating the Suns in a 7-game series in the Western Conference. No chance.
What?
Who
would you rather have the ball in their hand at the end of the game? Booker, Chris Paul, or Ja?
This is great for the Grizzlies. Last year, make the playoffs. This year, make the Western Conference Finals. Next year, we can start talking about them.
I love Chris Paul, and I love Devin Booker. At the end of the game, if I had to choose any one of those 3 guys, I'm giving the ball to Ja Morant. Who are you giving the ball to?
Chris Paul.
Okay, he hasn't won a championship yet, and this is his latest best chance to win one. At a certain point, you're like, well, maybe there are just better players, right?
No.
No?
No. I mean, you would rather have Ja Morant have the ball in the waning seconds of a game than Chris Paul.
Yeah, he's better. Yeah.
I would not.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.